Low voter turnout still persists in parts of the country.
Committee set up to protect minors from pedophiles and online abuse.
It's been a rather hot start to the month of August. Good evening. Welcome to the studios of GBC24 and GTV. It's time for the news with Akushika Akwe, Gifty J, and Robert Frimpong Manso to translate the news to our hearing impaired.
Good evening. Welcome.
The president says there will be a 20% reduction in aviation fuel as part of measures to make Ghana attractive to the airline industry. Mr. Mahama announced the measure during a tour of the Kotoka International Airport to inspect new projects. Here's Napoleon Atukito's report.
The government's directive to state-owned enterprises to implement programs on their own balance sheets have chalked up some success. As the president inspected new projects at the Kotoka International Airport in Accra, he praised three institutions for their exemplary initiatives: the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Airport Company Limited, and the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. Once they operate on their own budgets, it frees the central government purse to support other critical projects. The president inspected the new International Arrival Hall in the Terminal 2 building. Extension works have increased immigration counters from 12 to 26. Additional carousels have improved the time with which baggage is delivered. State-of-the-art scanners will make the work of customs officials easier. The president also inspected the Terminal 3 building, which is under construction. This is where the air bridges will be connected. It comes late in the day, but responds to needs of international travelers accustomed to world-class facilities. The Ghana Civil Aviation Training Academy was the other new facility inspected by officials. The Academy's 7-story building was inaugurated by the president. The Minister for Transport, Mr. Fifi Kwete, called for a sound maintenance culture to keep the building and its contents in shape for a long time.
The deterioration of infrastructure represents an enormous drain on national coffers. We must therefore, as Ghanaians, resolve to cultivate and sustain a solid culture of maintenance.
The president gave a thumbs up for what he saw on this tour.
There's a certain perception in this country that only the private sector can run anything efficiently. And I believe that these three bodies that I've spoken about, GPHA, GCA, and GCAL, are an example to other state enterprises that, yes, state enterprises can also run efficiently and operate very well. My information is that traffic into Accra is continuing to increase phenomenally, and especially transit traffic. And that shows that our vision of making this place an aviation hub, Accra an aviation hub, is on track and is working.
International flights to Ghana have increased exponentially on the back of investments in facilities and vigorous marketing strategy. Internal flights are also visible and competing with the most common means of transportation, which is by road. Napoleon Atukito reporting.
Away from that story, in the wake of the exhibition of the voters register, GBC24 has been to some polling stations in part of the northern and Volta regions. At all these polling stations visited, turnout was low. Many of the residents were not even aware of the exercise. The participation of political parties in the exercise was also low. Abdul Hai Momen has this report.
The publicity surrounding the ongoing voters register exhibition appears to be low. In some parts of the northern and Volta regions, many people were unaware of the exercise. This is Taha in the Sadnerego district of the northern region. Even though many of the people had seen some officials of the EC at the polling station, they had not gone to verify their names because they did not know why the officials were there.
We had no knowledge about the exercise. When I saw officials, I took my husband's ID card. If I am verified, but on election day, and the machine doesn't recognize me, what will happen?
The officials at both the Bishop's polling station in the Tamale North constituency and St. Peter's polling station in the Tamale Central constituency were virtually on a holiday. They say only a few people had expressed interest in the process.
The turnout is very low because we have about a total number of 924 on this particular register, and from that day to date, the total number of this thing we had is less than 200.
At Hojo, a town in the Volta region a few kilometers from the Togo border, the story was almost the same. With days to end the exercise, only 100 people out of a total of almost 500 people had come to verify their names.
Patronage is not all that good because we don't know. But when I had one or two conversations with one of the indigenes, they told me that they are always relegated to the background because their road to where they have been taking their goods to for sale was not all that good.
Some of the residents, however, had excuses for not verifying their names.
I was taking care of my sick mother. That is why I didn't check my name early.
My avale registration wa for chochoran gogben. Eyata fifi me pon GTV eyata me varo.
I don't know. I just came out. I don't know their story.
You're not interested then?
Or not, I'm not interested.
So will you go and check?
I'll go and check.
When?
One of the main issues following the election petition in 2013 was the issue of an over-bloated voters register. Some political officials raised concerns that in parts of the country, especially along the border towns, people who were not qualified to register found a way of getting their names onto the register. However, now that the exercise has begun, the participation of political parties appears to be non-existent as party agents were not present at the centers visited. Abdulhai Mumin, GBC24.
To Ashanti now, where the president of the National House of Chiefs, now Professor John Nabila, has entreated traditional rulers not to openly support any political party or candidate ahead of the December 7 elections. Addressing the National House of Chiefs in Kumasi, now Professor Nabila said the House is not in favor of chiefs endorsing political parties.
Last year, officials from the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the United Nations Children's Fund presented two policies to the National House of Chiefs. They were the Child and Family Welfare Policy and Justice for Children Policy. The Child and Family Welfare Policy has been launched. A draft of the Justice for Children Policy was presented to the House at the second general meeting on the policy. It was for the House to make inputs. The head of UNICEF's Child Protection Program, Madame Johanna Erickson Tacho, said there are still gaps in child protection.
Ghana still has one of the highest rates in the world of children facing physical abuse. Sexual abuse of children happens not in isolated random cases, but are frequently and regularly happening to many children, especially girls.
A consultant for the Justice for Children policy, Madame Efua Adote, presented an analysis report on the policy to the House. The president of the National House of Chiefs, now Professor John Nabila, condemned the open support of political parties by some chiefs.
As traditional rulers, it is our wish that the forthcoming elections are conducted in a peaceful atmosphere. I would like to take this opportunity to call on all Ghanaians to make sure that absolute peace is maintained before, during, and after the elections.
The Minister for Chieftaincy and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Henry Seydou Dana, called on members of the National House of Chiefs to protect the dignity of the chieftaincy institution.
Ahead of the December general elections, the regent of Bembela, Nyalimbolungu, Na Yakubu and Dani Dasana is calling for peace in that part of the country. For years, Bembela has been embroiled in a protracted conflict. A recent renewed clashes led to loss of lives and imposition of a curfew. Now the residents say they are tired of conflict and have appealed to the Interior Ministry to lift the curfew imposed on the area, given its negative impact on especially commercial activities. Abdul Hai Momen has been to Bembela and has the story on the peace and security situation in the area.
Bembela is the capital of the Nanumba North District of the Northern Region. It is also the capital of the Nanumba State and the seat of the overlord of Nanung, the Bembela Na. Bembela has been the scene of many ethnic clashes. It was the center of the Konkumba-Nanumba War in 1994. And thereafter, there have been clashes in that part of the country, leading to loss of several lives. Currently, Bembela is under a curfew. This means members of this community will have to adjust their working and social lives to beat the curfew. People whose livelihood depended on nightlife have over the years lost out on economic activities. Due to the conflict, this town has not seen very much in terms of infrastructural development. Residents now say they are tired of conflicts and have appealed to the Interior Ministry to lift the curfew given its negative impact on activities in the area.
For a long time, the people of Bembela have known no peace. In 1981, there was conflict in these parts of the country, as well as in 1994, and in 1995, there was war in this part of the country as well. Ahead of the 2016 elections, the people are saying that they have had enough, and the only message they have is that of peace.
We want peace so that we can live normal lives.
I beg everybody who lives here to give peace a chance, to be very, very tolerant.
It's an advantage to tell you or to appeal to the government to review the curfew for us. Really, it's affecting us.
The regent of Bembela, Nyalimbolungu Na Yakubu and Dani Dasana, says as the country prepares for elections in December, politicians should be measured in their language, especially when they come to campaign in Bembela and surrounding communities.
We must all come together and work towards peace. Looking at the development of our area, we could have had better. We could have improved much better than where we are now. And this is just because of the unnecessary tensions and conflicts that happens around this area. As a youth leading the traditional area, it's my duty to make it a point that the entire youth come together to work in developing Nano.
Ethnic conflicts contribute to growing violence and strife in society and threaten the peace and security in Ghana. Violent conflicts in Africa impair development programs and are largely responsible for the underdevelopment of large sections of the population in West Africa. This explains why peace should be the watchword as the country heads to the polls in December. Abdul Hai Momen, GBC24, Bembela.
And as the country prepares for the general elections, the Amir and missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission says Muslims must not only be seen to be preaching the message of peace, but must be seen as agents of peace. Maulvi Mohammed bin Saleh has therefore called for calm and has appealed to presidential candidates and aspiring legislators to be agents of peace. The Amir was speaking at a conference of Ahmadi Muslims in Accra.
The Ahmadiyya Muslim mission believes in the principle of love for all, hatred for none, regardless of one's faith or belief. Ahead of the 2016 general elections, the mission has cautioned against violence and abusive campaign language. At a conference in the Greater Accra region, various speakers emphasized the need for Muslims to show the way to a violence-free election. The founder of the Meridian University College, Alhaji Ibrahim Bonsu, said the best way Muslims can show others the path to peace is for them to be morally upright. The president of the Temasecute of the mission, Mr. Ubaidullah Said, called on Muslims to develop the spirit of sacrifice to God and country. The Amir, a missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission, Mawvi Muhammad bin Sali, called on Muslims to not only be seen to be preaching the message of peace, but must be seen as agents of peace.
As the best of people created for the service of mankind, it becomes our responsibility to play the role of an exemplary leadership to ensure that through our individual and collective activities, the elections take place peacefully in the interest of the progress of Mother Ghana.
He called for calm and cautioned against violence and abusive campaigns and appealed to presidential candidates and aspiring legislators to be agents of peace.
Many children are unaware of the dangers of surfing online and at specific sites. To protect such vulnerable and unsuspecting children, the government has inaugurated a 27-member National Steering Committee known as the Child Online Protection Initiative in Accra. The committee is expected to draft a framework in 3 months which will protect all children who use the internet. The chief of Agomeda, Nane Gasse Kasa, is chairing the committee with the Acting Director General of GBC, Mrs. Francisca Ashite Odonton, as his vice.
The internet can be a dark and dangerous place, especially for children who are vulnerable to online dangers. This is because they have greater access to the internet. Even though the internet can be a valuable educational tool, the experts say it is important for parents and teachers to be aware of the risks and take steps to minimize them. Inappropriate material on the internet includes pornography and violence, and they are worrisome for both the parent and teachers, since the young users are often unsupervised. The National Steering Committee on Child Online Protection has its job cut out. It is expected to protect minors when they log on to surf. It will come up with a national response team, review the existing laws, and design educative programs to protect young users. Communications Minister Dr. Edward Omani-Boama said the framework should keep all minors safe online.
The National Child Online Protection Framework document must serve as a catalyst for knowledge transfer within and outside the group, serve as a focal point for policy review, serve as a coordinating body for awareness raising among the general public and SMEs, and provide a forum for networking among local and foreign stakeholders as a means of facilitating policy development and exchanging ideas on international best practice.
The chairman of the National Steering Committee on Child Online Protection Initiative, Nene Nagai Kasa, charged members not to treat this task as political, but a national exercise.
We must do it well so that the nation will benefit. And it is one of the cardinal principles that I would wish to indicate to my members, whom I would say some in their own rights are highly professional. The media will have to help us. All other stakeholders who have not even been called will have to help us, so that at the end of the day, it will be a national material that will be acceptable to everybody.
All speakers agreed that parents must recognize the dangers involved when their children interact with other people online.
Hello again. My name is Maurice Ogbete. In business tonight, Newmont Rich Golden has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Forestry Commission on the Achim Phase 2 reforestation offset project. The project forms part of the mitigation measures being pursued by Newmont Ghana to offset the impact of mining activities at the Achim mine.
The reforestation offset project covers 303 hectares of land. This is a threefold replacement of 101 hectares of the Ajenjua Bipo Forest Reserve acquired for open pit mining. The Achim mine began the first phase of the project by establishing a 60-hectare reforestation in the second quarter of 2014. While the 60-hectare reforestation was ongoing, Newmont continued to deliberate with the Forestry Services Division for 243 hectares of degraded suitable forest land to be used for the second phase of the project. The interim general manager of the Achim mine, Mr. Yao Intrama, commended the Forestry Division for the support in completing the first phase of the project successfully. Mr. Emmanuel Bafuasari, the environmental superintendent of Newmont Golden Ridge Limited, said the project would create about 250 jobs for the unemployed in the community.
Part of our pit is in the forest reserve, so we committed to replace 3 times every hectare that the forestry gives us in the forest reserve. So now, as part of that commitment, we are giving 101 hectares. So our commitment is to replace not less than 303 in the reforestation.
The regional senior manager of Newmont Africa, Alwyn Presterius, said the collaboration between Newmont and the Forestry Commission should be sustained to protect the forest reserve in the Achim area.
And still in business, water level in the Akonsombo Dam is rising steadily, but the VRA says it is early days yet to operate all turbines of the dam. Current water levels stand at 236.12 feet, rising from 235.01, the lowest recorded last week. Speaking exclusively to GBC24, Chief Executive Officer of VRA, Kek Kofi said, with the rains in the northern part of the country, the water level in the dam is rising fast and is expected to rise further in the days ahead.
Today, the water level is 236.12. 236.12. We went as low as 235.01. Well, about 2 weeks ago, and then by His grace, the water has started rising. It's rising very fast, and it's as a result of the rains in the catchment area. I think you'll be seeing a lot of rains in the northern part, and it's really impacting on the rise in the level. So we've got slightly more than a foot within this short period of time. And to be at 236.12 today at the beginning of August, it's our expectation that if it continues this way, the level will go up appreciably. And as it goes up, it will also improve on our ability to generate more from our consumer. We're still running 3 machines. It's too early for us to go, but it's too early. But I'm hopeful things will be well.
The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana is calling for a 5% reduction in fuel prices. According to the Chamber, the first fuel pricing window for the month of August 2016 and the National Petroleum Authority's deregulation pricing program commences today. The Chamber says prices at the local pumps have so far not reflected prevailing figures both on the international market and the CD dollar exchange. Those same have contributed immensely in no small way in the past when pump prices have gone up. Prices on the world market over the past 4 windows have gone down by 17.164% from previous levels of $50.22 per barrel to the current indexes of $41.60 per barrel, but the local pumps have till date adjusted by less than 5% cumulative across most OMCs. Let's go to the interbank market where the dollar is trading at 3 cedis 95 pesos, the pound at 5 cedis 19 pesos. We also bring you latest price of gold, cocoa and oil on the international commodities market. The insurance news brought to you by SIC Life. Now, Credit Life Insurance is one of the insurance policies that comes as a relief to the policyholder and his bank. Credit Life Insurance policy is designed to pay off a borrower's debt in the event of death.
Credit life insurance is a kind of security that is taken by the banks to be able to protect themselves against losses that will result from the default of debtors during the course of the loan. If you die in the first day, the whole loan is going to be paid by the insurance company. If you die in the last day and it's left with 1 cedi, the insurance company will pay it off so that the banks will have the full value of what they gave to you. It's not only death. They cover you against permanent disability. If, for instance, stroke and he can no longer work and he loses his income, the employer dispenses of his services. Then, of course, even though he has not died, the insurance company will pay to the bank the balance of the loan because he can no longer earn money to pay off the loan.
Insurance news was brought to you by SIC Live. There is more news ahead. Stay with us.
Welcome back. On the health front, Accra Brewery Limited has extended its responsible drinking campaign to Kofodia in the eastern region. The campaign, dubbed Alcohol and Pregnancy Sensitization and Responsible Retailing, is to ensure that alcohol consumption does not harm drinkers or society at large.
The Accra Brewery Limited (ABL) has over the years embarked on a holistic alcohol responsibility campaign, responsible retailer training, underage abuse of alcohol, and pregnancy sensitization program. Since its inception in 2013, more than 1,000 retailers of ABL products in Accra and Kumasi have been trained to sell responsibly. Over 900 underage persons have been engaged on the harmful use of alcohol. Also, more than 3,000 pregnant women have been educated on a series of preventable birth defects caused by alcohol consumption during pregnancy. At the Kofodia Central Hospital, pregnant women were enlightened on the causes and effects of fetal alcohol syndrome and its physical, intellectual, and behavioral defects on the developing fetus or the baby. Mrs. Juliet Ando is a senior nursing officer at the Kofodia Central Hospital.
Alcohol intake is very bad. It tends to affect the organs of the fetus in your womb.
Pregnant women were taken through drills such as alcohol and health, alcohol and pregnancy, and expectant mother's responsibility.
We learned about the harmful effects of alcohol intake on our bodies and our unborn babies.
Abstaining from Later, ABL retailers in Kofodia were schooled on alcohol legislation in Ghana, reasonable consumption of alcohol, and specific misuse of alcohol, as well as its implications. It was to make them responsible in the retail of alcohol beverages and manage alcohol abuse in their communities. In an interview, the Legal and Regulatory Affairs Manager of ABL, Mrs. Entriwa Asante, revealed the rationale behind the responsible drinking campaign.
Now we know that abuse of alcohol
is an issue in communities. Therefore, we have taken it upon ourselves to ensure that our retailers are educated in the responsible retailing of alcohol, so that we work together as a whole to ensure that alcohol abuse is managed in the community.
A retailer of ABL products, Mr. Paul Yao Sapon of Circle Sport in Koforidua, had this advice for his colleagues.
Because when you pan a bano bisa who say a hen of Benmaka, a bemo sika, or babe fit and be water so cry.
If somebody is already intoxicated, there is no need to sell more drinks to him or her.
Certificates were given to participating retailers to be displayed at their drinking parlor.
Good evening, let's update ourselves from happenings in the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. Ghana's athletes for this year's Rio Olympic Games says they are ready to give up their best in the biggest sporting event in the world. The team last night departed to Rio. Prior to their departure, some of the athletes shared their thoughts with GBC24.
Well, I want to do my personal best. I want to set a new national record for Ghana. I want to give my best shot out and make the country proud.
Very excited I'm going to Rio because this is my first time of going to Olympic Games, so I'm very, very happy. I'm going to do the best I can do to raise the flag of Ghana high.
I'm not promising that we are going to win a medal, but we are going to do wonders.
Firstly, I'm very excited to be part of the team and hope when we go, we get into the medal zone for the relay girls.
Ghana should expect nothing but the best. I'm going there to prove myself how best I am.
Ghana's chef the mission for Rio 2016, Chris Asilfi, says surprises are bound to happen.
In athletics and in sports like this nature, anything can happen. And I'm very confident that, yes, we may have some people pulling some surprises for us.
Team Ghana comprises 16 first-time Olympians made up of 11 track and field athletes, 2 swimmers, a weightlifter, a judoka, and a boxer. A special tennis clinic has been organized for school children in Accra as part of the Catch Them Young initiative by the Ghana Tennis Federation.
More than 100 school children took part in the tennis clinic organized by the Ghana Tennis Federation with support from the Tamils Memorial Foundation. The program was aimed at introducing the game of tennis to young and talented players by giving them the necessary training. The participants were taken through various drills. The organizers of the event shared their thoughts with GBC24.
The purpose of the clinic was to get them to pick up some skills, get a little bit of coaching, enjoy the day, enjoy some music, and then at the end be giving some strings and other tennis equipment that hopefully they can use as they try to become better tennis players.
After hours of playing, the children were rewarded. A participant shared her experience.
So far it's great. I'm with my friends and we are all having fun.
Organizers say the program will be held occasionally to monitor promising talents.
The Ghana Cycling Federation, in collaboration with the Universal Peace Federation, has organized a peace ride ahead of the 2016 general elections. The event was dubbed One Nation, One Heart.
More than 50 cyclists competed for podium place and domestic supremacy through the principal streets of the capital. The cyclists took off from the Tatakwashi interchange through airport to Sankara interchange, then the ring road through the Dabraka main road before winding up at the Accra Sports Stadium dressed in national colors. The Peace Commissioner, Reverend Anthony Arthur, urged all and sundry to work towards maintaining peace ahead of the elections.
For decades, we have enjoyed a certain level of peace in our nation. We need to be sure that the peace we have so much enjoyed can be secured for a long period of time. To do this, we need to always thank God by celebrating as we are doing today.
The Vice President of the Ghana Cycling Federation, Tai Duku, was impressed with the turnout.
We expected this turnout, maybe more, because the more you get people, the more you can broadcast whatever you want to do. But then, of course, this turnout is just okay for us also. The US want to use this opportunity also to appeal to
losses,
people to broadcast the peace all over and then we'll all see how it goes.
A citation was received on behalf of the Minister for Youth and Sports, Neelanti Vanderpoel, as an ambassador of peace.
Finally, the Ghana Immigration Ladies football team have given their relegation battle a boost. They beat league leaders defending champion Secondaire Azakes by 2-1. The clash between the Ghana Immigration Service and defending and three-time champions of the National Women's Football League, Secondaire Azakes, was one of the matchday 12 encounters in the league. Immigration in their usual green and yellow jersey approached the game with confidence, having eliminated Hazakes in the ongoing Sanford World Clinic FA Cup round of 16 tie in Second D. Immigration controlled the midfield and pressed for the opener. On the stroke of half-time, Sylvia Nelson broke the deadlock. Back from the break, Immigration continued to pile pressure, and in the 57th minute, Nelson again was quick to tap in to make it 2-0. Hazakes regrouped and in the 76th minute reduced the deficit. The encounter ended 2-1 in favor of Immigration. Coaches had this to say.
For a long time, Hazakes have been beating us. So as we are going to the FA Cup at Second D, we said no, we have to stop those things. And when we beat them. So after that match, I told them that the league match at Accra, we are going to beat them, and we have beaten them.
Luck is following them because on Wednesday, to be frank with you, I think they did very well in the first half. They took the midfield and played well. And we realized that is exactly what they did. In the second half, we took over and played, but we couldn't get a goal. And the penalty shootouts, that is lottery. Yes. So when we came here, we understood exactly what they would be doing. So we also practiced and prepared for it. Yes, and that is why you saw that we played very well in the first half. And even in the whole game, I think we played much better than them. But unfortunately, our strikers couldn't help.
The league continues this weekend. That's all for sports.
Welcome back in entertainment. Different institutions and organizations converged at the National Theatre to sing with one's voice for peace. The event, dubbed 1,000 Voices of Peace, was put together by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana and International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. The night was packed with a variety of performances from different groups. 15-year-old Hannah Mabna Chisa led the GBC band to perform the song Heal the World. Jay Shadi and his band also thrilled the audience with his performance.
And I can do without you. Let me hear. You. I can do.
The Pacesetters band of GBC got the audience on their feet. It was time for everyone to join in the chorus for the patriotic songs.
The director for the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, Professor Adebayo Olukoshi, urged Ghanaians to avoid acts that could plunge the country into chaos. The president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Mr. Kojo Mata, explained the rationale for the event.
Wanted to use music as a form of healing our land, as a form of healing ourselves. We wanted to use this program to convey peace messages to all Ghanaians, that Ghana is the only country we have. So we should do everything to preserve the peace we have in this country.
1,000 Voices of Peace is expected to unite Ghanaians before, during and after the elections.
And still in entertainment, veteran Ghanaian actor George Williams has passed away at the age of 87. He died last night at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra.
George Brigas Williams was born on 8th January 1929 in Sekindi. He had his secondary education at Adesado College in Cape Coast. Since George Williams loved to entertain, he joined the Ghana movie industry as an actor, starring in lots of Ghanaian movies. He was a regular feature in the popular TV series Ultimate Paradise. George performed in Julian Green South at the London's Arts Theatre and was a singer too. After a series of programs on the BBC West African service, he made several recordings with great jazz musicians in England such as Harry Klein, Mike Mackenzie, Shekin and Joe Harriott. At 87, Williams, this past Saturday, the 30th of July, graduated from the Accra Institute of Technology. According to a close relative, Mr. Williams complained that he didn't feel too well and was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Until his death, George Williams was a lecturer at the Accra Film School.
Time now to part company, but before we go, a quick run through our main news in brief.
Voter turnout is still low in the ongoing exhibition of the voters' register. Some say publicity is slow. In some parts of the northern and Volta regions, GBC24 observed that many people were unaware of the exercise, whilst participation of political parties in the exercise is also low.
A 27-member National Steering Committee is in place to protect minors and vulnerable children from the dangers of the internet. The committee is to draft a framework in 3 months to guide it in its work. Thanks for keeping company with us.